Hello Bellezas, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Brenda. If you would like to join my little community of Bellezas, go ahead and subscribe down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss when I post another video like this one. Now with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Alright, as you guys can see, today I will be reading more of my subscribers' paranormal stories. If you want to submit your story, my email, or the best way to send them, is to my email down here, which is beyondbellezaparanormal@gmail.com. I would really appreciate it, and I would love to hear the stories or read the stories that you guys send me. Alright, so let me go ahead and pull up my email so I could read the first one. So I just want to mention real quick, if I stumble on my words a lot, it is just sometimes the way that the emails are sent into me is just like one giant paragraph, like no spacing in between, so it's kind of hard for me to keep track of where I am and then also of where a sentence starts and a sentence ends. So just wanted to let you guys know that because I know that a lot of the times I'll like stop a lot, or there will be like a lot of cuts in my video, and that is because I'm trying to read as best as I can, basically. So story number 1 is by Alexa Gutierrez. She says, "Hey, my name is Alexa, and yes, you can use my name in your video. I have a tío who lives in Outlook, Washington." Shout out Washington. "And he has a rancho with fields all around his house that we believe is haunted. One night, my tío and his primo," that's her uncle and his cousin, "were going out into the fields to turn off the water for the sprinklers. They turned off the water and walked back to his house, but when they got there, they saw that the sprinklers turned on by themselves, and they looked at each other and were shocked because they had just turned it off. My tío and his primo walked back into the fields to turn the water off again. My tío's primo said he was gonna go pee, and he wandered off in the fields. When he was peeing, he saw a lady in a white dress, and he started following her when they reached the canal where he believed the lady died because she disappeared into thin air. We would call her La Muertita," or the dead girl, basically, "because this isn't the first time they've seen her." Oh my god, first of all, I just realized that sentence was that he followed her to the canal. Like, why? Why, sir? When the lady disappeared, my tío's primo walked back to where my tío was, and they started heading back to his house. While walking back, they saw my tío's ladder that was at the house on the floor in the fields. My tío asked his primo if he had brought the ladder over to the fields, and he said, "No, que no la trajiste tú?" or "No, didn't you bring it?" And my tío said no. They picked up the ladder and went back to my tío's house. A couple days passed, and my tío was driving home from work, and he was passing the fields towards his house when he saw La Muertita walking along the side of the road in her white dress with long black hair in a trenza, or a braid. He reversed his car to see if she was still there, but there was nobody. He continued to drive home, and he told his wife that he saw the lady again. Thank you for reading my story, and I have many more I would love to share. I love your videos, and guys, make sure to subscribe to her channel. Thank you so much, Alexa. That was such a good story too. And they're so casual about seeing this lady, and like this ghost lady. They're like, "It's just La Muertita. She hangs out around the rancho, you know. It's whatever. We're cool." Like, it's like a chill ghost. She just be minding her own business. Sometimes they see her, sometimes they don't. That was pretty creepy. Again, thank you for sending that one in. Now let's go ahead and move on to story number 2. This one is, they want to stay anonymous, okay? So I'm not going to say who it's from, but thank you so much for sending it in to me. It says, "Hi girl, I want to share my friend's story with you. She would like to stay anonymous, and so do I. Some background info. My friend works at a university, and it is believed to be haunted because of its history. She has been working there for a few years, and she has not experienced anything scary or paranormal until recently. She mentioned to me that in the building she works in, you have to scan your ID and put a code in to be able to open the doors. Last week she got to work and one of the doors that you need to put a code in was open. Keep in mind there is no way to open the door just like that. If you try to open it, it won't budge. Anyway, she thought nothing of it and probably the janitor left it open. She asked her boss about it later in the day, and her boss told her nobody was there before her and the door should have been closed. Another situation was when she was getting mail and was sorting it. Where she was, there was a door nearby. With that door, she would know if somebody would come in as they would put a code. When someone puts a code, you are able to hear the noise. She didn't hear that, so she looked up just because she saw the door open by itself. She looked around and nobody was around. She told me that her boss had gone to get the mail and nothing happens to her. Hope you see this and read it in your video. Love your videos. Kind regards, her name. That's really creepy. I love stories like that where there is only one access point and there's no other way for the doors to open, and the only way that you could probably debunk it is with any sort of malfunction basically. But if this doesn't really ever happen, and she's worked there for a while now, and you said that there hasn't been any paranormal experience with her, but then something like this happens where it could be explained, but at the same time, like, how else would that have happened if not a technical issue basically? So I think it's paranormal. I'm just gonna say it. It's a paranormal experience for your girl. But thank you so much for sending that in again, and let's go ahead and go on to story number 3. I'm like breezing by these. A lot of these are pretty short, and I know you guys want longer videos, but when I have a limited supply of content, I try to like spread it out as much as I can, so then that way I don't run out of stories that quickly and you guys get multiple videos. But I will try to make them a little bit longer, try to read all of the longer stories and then do videos where it's like multiple small ones. I guess that would work. Story number 3 is by Erica Rivera. It says, "Good morning. Hope all is well. My username goes by Kika World on YouTube." Hey girl. It says, "Hi, my story is actually very recent, so here we go. Before I moved in with my boyfriend, he went to work early hours, 2 a.m. through 3 a.m. at the hospital, so when he would take me back home, that's the time we would head out. He told me to wait in the car since he forgot something. This time it was 2 a.m. While waiting in the car, I see in the rearview mirror a woman with short hair in a ponytail, tank top and shorts, who was clearly upset about something. She was stomping right and left. Then she saw I was looking at her and she charges straight at me. But I noticed she is transparent, and after getting scared, I gathered myself and finished registering what I had saw. My boyfriend comes back to the car and I told him what I saw, and he dismisses it as I am probably still sleepy. This was 3 years ago. For some reason, 4 months ago, I brought this up to my boyfriend. I'm like, hey, remember that one time I told you I saw the angry ghost lady? He takes a deep breath and says, I never told you this, but 3 years ago, our neighbors kidnapped and tortured a woman for a week. The news came and everything. The lady's husband even appeared on the news sobbing, saying, I don't know these people. I don't know how these people came into our lives. She left behind a husband and 3 children. It was drug related. My boyfriend comes from a family where they dismiss the paranormal because it is in fact very real. He told me, yeah, I think it's crazy how you saw that lady. Very sad. Damn. That's pretty crazy that it ended up being someone from that neighborhood. If it was actually her, that is really sad. But what I want to know is, like, did you ever get to see like a picture of her or something to verify whether it was her or not? That would be really interesting if it ended up being like the same person and you ended up seeing like an apparition of her. That would be wild. But that was a good story. Thank you, Erica. Okay, so story number 4. It says, "Hi, my name is Stephanie. I won't say my age because I'm not comfortable, but I'll just tell the story. You totally don't have to tell me your age. It's fine." Okay, it says, "Lately, I've been seeing like a black medium-sized dot figure thingies going across my room like every day, which creeps me out. But honestly, while I was seeing the fireworks, which was July 4th yesterday, I was peacefully seeing them and I kept getting that feeling like someone was watching me. Of course, it could have been someone. I looked around, but it was no one. Then I turned around and I was hearing whispering like near my ear. I quickly turned around and the whispering was gone, and there was no one there. Another day, I was washing dishes when my parents were talking, but it sounded weird, like a different weird language. When I turned around, they were talking normal again. I was very weirded out, but I ignored it. Also, stuff has been falling on its own on my room and the whole apartment. But that's all I experienced for this week." Girl, this week? P.S. Hopefully I go on the video. I would be so happy and would make my day. Hopefully you get more subscribers and be seen more. God bless. That is so sweet of you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. That is so scary. And if you're saying this has only been 1 week, that's crazy. Hopefully you could figure out what's going on and let me know, because that is so creepy. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one more story, which would be story number 5 now. And it says they want to stay anonymous too, okay? It says, "I really enjoy paranormal stories and the narratives you read. I really don't have paranormal experiences besides sleep paralysis years ago. Both of the following stories are told from my mom's point of experience. They both also happened on the way to her work. The first time it happened when she was entering the driveway to her workplace and saw that there was a man leaning on a red motorcycle, just staring into the property at the edge of the street. She didn't think much of it until she mentioned it to a coworker. The coworker told her that someone died in an accident precisely on that spot. Thing is, when she left to go home, my mother took a closer look and did notice that there was a cross at the edge of the small ditch. This totally freaked her out because she was able to know the color of that motorcycle with just that apparition. A second time, she was following a small semi-truck and was coming to a stop because it was during a time of which the sunrise occurred later in time. It was difficult to see other than the taillights of the truck. Thing is, at a certain stop, she said she could clearly see the brake lights glowing stronger. When all of a sudden the light turned green, the brake lights disappeared along with the truck in front of her. Even weirder, the truck was no longer visible in any other direction. It was just not possible to vanish in such a way. She was confused because why would a truck all of a sudden just turn off its lights when it was very dark in the morning? This may be why she carries rosaries in the front mirror of her cars. Anyways, not too many interesting stories. Keep narrating very good stories that keep me up in the afternoon with lights on at home." Thank you so much for sending those stories in. Hopefully your mom doesn't experience anything crazy anymore, because, you know, we don't want her getting scared to death from the paranormal activity at her workplace. That's not a fun place to experience paranormal stuff. Well, at least you can run away from it. If it happens at home, you got no choice but to stay at home. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much for those stories, for the 5 of you who sent those in. I really did enjoy them. Thank you for keeping me spooked, and I also watch all the scary stuff with the lights on in the middle of the day because I can't do it at night anymore. And I also should stop filming in the middle of the night because it is not good for my sleep schedule. But anyway, before I end the video, today's comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. As always, I really do appreciate it. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment down below, of course. With that being said, you guys, hopefully I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. I love you guys. Bye-bye. And whenever I'm